In this video, we will learn what is the need of Automapper and how to use Automapper in ASP.NET Core Web API application. In this application, we have book repository, interface iBook repository and books controller. So, first we will understand the need of Automapper. See here, in this book repository, we have two get methods. In this first get method, we are getting list of books. In the second method, we are getting a single book. Here, we are mapping all the properties from this class to this book model manually. We are doing the same thing in this method also because we have only three properties in our table. So writing this code is very easy. Let's assume that in future we might have 20 or 30 properties in our table. So we have to write the mapping manually in all the methods like this. We have to write 20 or 30 line of code year and year. There are some drawbacks of doing this work manually. First is we have to spend too much time to writing this mapping. Second drawback is we have to repeat the same code again and again, or we can say that duplication of codes. Third is there is a chance to map wrong property to wrong column. Now we can resolve all these problems by using Automapper. Automapper is basically a package that we have to install in our application. Then that will map all the properties automatically. So right click on project here, choose manage NuGet packages. In the browse tab, search for Automapper. Here choose this one automapper.extensions.microsoft.dependency injection. This package is customized specially for ASP.NET Core, so we can use this package. This package has the dependencies of Automapper. So if we install this package, this above package also get installed along with this package. So click the install button here, click OK. This package is installed successfully. Now you can see the installed packages in this installed tab. Okay, now we have to add this Automapper in our startup class. Let's open a startup class. In this class, inside this configure services method, let's add services dot add Automapper. Here we have to pass type of, then name of our startup class. Now we can use Automapper in our application. Let's create new folder in this application. So right click here, choose add new folder. Let's say folder's name helpers. We have created this helpers folder. In future, if we want to add some more helpers, then we can add it inside this folder. So it's not a mandatory to create this folder. Inside this helpers folder, let's create a new class. You can create this class anywhere in your application. Then give a meaningful name. Let's say application mapper. Here we have created simple class. Now inherit this class from profile. Then add the namespace. This profile list belongs to Automapper. In this application, we have created a mapper profile globally. Now in this class, let's create a constructor. In this constructor, create a map by using create map method. In this method, we have to pass two classes. In this book repository, we have to map this books class to this book model. So source is books and then destination is book model. So add this here, books, comma, book model. Like this. Add the namespaces. Now we can map this books class to this book model also. Then if you want to use reverse mapping, write the same line again, interchange this class to book model to books like this, or we can use one method that is already available. So remove it. Here we can use reverse map. So now using this reverse map method, now we can map the data from books class to book model or book model to books classes. So we have to use this Automapper in our book repository to map the data. Remember, this Automapper in ASP.NET Core supports dependency injection. First, we have to use dependency injection to get Automapper. So, in this constructor, we have to use imapper. So, add the namespace. Imapper belongs to Automapper. Okay, now right click on this mapper, choose quick action and refactorings, create an assign field mapper. Here use underscore before we did like this context. Now we can use the mapper to map the data. Okay. Now first we will start with get book by ID async method. Let's comment all this code from this method. Here we are using a var method for learning purpose only. We have book ID in our books table. So this is the primary key of the table. So we can use find async method to get the data directly. So we can write here var book equal await and then using context dot books dot, here we can use find async method. Here we have to pass book ID. Now see here, the type of book is books. Return type of this method is book model. Now let's use the Automapper like this. Return. Here we can use mapper dot map method. In the map method, we have to pass the target class. Here target class is book model. In this parenthesis, we have to pass the source. Your source is book. Now we can get the database by using these two lines. We can map this data to this book model. Then we are returning it. Let's assume that in future we are um, adding two more properties in our table. If you are using the Automapper, there is no need to write anything here because Automapper will handle it everything. If your model properties are different to each other, then we have to define the mapping in this Automapper class, in this profile. Okay. Properties of both the classes are similar or exact match, then only it will work. Otherwise, it will not work because it does not know which property map with which property. Okay. Now save and run this application. Now let's open Postman. Here we are using get method. This is the URL to get a list of books. Now append ID in this URL. Let's say 3. Then click the send button here. Here we got the output. Now go to Visual Studio. Stop the execution. Now we will use the mapper in get all books async method. Remove these codes from here. In this return statement, we can use mapper.map. Name of the target class is book model. In the parenthesis, sources records. See here, the return type is list, so we have to add list here. We are getting the data here and we are mapping and returning the data here. Now save and run this application again. In the Postman, now click the send button here. This is a URL to get a list of books. See here, we got all the books from data from books table. This is how we can use Automapper in ASP.NET Core Web API application. Thanks for watching this video.